hold up two bottles. One says premium spring water. One says purified drinking water, store brand. Here's the harsh truth. You are paying up to a 10,000% markup for water that in a huge number of cases started its life coming out of the exact same tap as the water in your kitchen. Tap water costs American households a fraction of a cent per gallon. Most estimates put it around half a cent to a cent and a half, all in with sewer fees. Bottled water, bought by the single serving bottle, regularly runs $9 to $12 per gallon. Do the math, and that's not a 300% markup. That's sometimes 1,000 to 2,000 times the price of tap. And the label on the bottle, spring, purified, and natural, doesn't mean what you think it means. Let's do the autopsy on the label because the rules here aren't hidden, they're just never read. Bottled water in the US isn't regulated by the same people who oversee your tap. Your tap water is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency. Bottled water is regulated by the Food and Drug Administration under something called a Standard of Identity, first written into law in 1995. That standard defines specific words a bottler is legally allowed to put on a label, and here's the loophole. Those legal definitions have almost nothing to do with taste, purity, or how premium the water is. Take purified water. Legally, that just means the water went through distillation, deionization, or reverse osmosis. It says nothing about the source. Municipal tap water, the same water that comes out of your faucet, can legally be run through a filter, bottled, and labeled purified drinking water with zero requirement to disclose that it came from a city water system. Take spring water, legally defined as water that flows naturally to the surface of an underground formation. It sounds untouched and pristine. And what it doesn't require is disclosing the actual location of that spring on the label. Now here's the part that should make you angry. Products labeled simply water, filtered water, or drinking water without one of those specific legal terms often fall outside the FDA's bottled water standards entirely, regulated only as generic food products, with none of the specific bottled water quality testing requirements attached. So the premium bottle and the store brand bottle can, and often do, share the same molecular starting point, H2O, filtered through similar reverse osmosis or carbon filtration systems, run through similar sanitizing equipment, and sealed in the same category of plastic. The difference isn't chemistry, it's the cost of the label, the bottle design, and the ad campaign that told you this one tastes like a mountain. Here's your 10-second test, and it costs about $10 one time to set up. Buy a cheap TDS meter, total dissolved solids meter, from any hardware or hydroponic store. Dip it in the water. TDS measures the concentration of dissolved minerals and salts in parts per million. Here's what the number tells you. Legally, purified water and distilled water must have very low TDS, because the entire point of those production processes, reverse osmosis, deionization, distillation, is to strip dissolved solids out. And if a bottle labeled purified reads close to 0 on a TDS meter, the process claim on the label checks out chemically. But that also means there was nothing special in there to begin with. It's demineralized water, full stop. And compare that reading to your own tap water run through a basic home filter. In most US municipalities, filtered tap water will land in a similar low TDS range. If your 9-gallon bottle and your basic filtered tap water land in the same TDS neighborhood, then you've just proven, with a $10 meter, that you paid 1,000 times markup for a number that matches what's already flowing out of your sink. So what should you actually buy? If you like the taste and clarity of purified water, then buy a basic activated carbon pitcher filter or an under-sink reverse osmosis unit. You'll find them in the same hardware or home goods aisle as water softeners, usually within 15 feet of where bottled water cases are stacked at big box stores. A one-time filter purchase in the range of most people's monthly bottled water bill will produce, by volume, the same TDS-reduced water for years. Why does the raw filtration process work just as well as the bottled version? Because it's physically the same mechanism. Reverse osmosis forces water molecules through a semi-permeable membrane small enough to block dissolved salts and larger contaminant molecules. That's a physical sieve, not a brand secret. Whether that membrane sits in a bottling plant in another state or under your sink, the physics doesn't change. Then, if you specifically want the mineral content associated with mineral water, which by definition must contain at least 250 parts per million of dissolved solids, not less. That's the one category where the label is chemically meaningful, then, because it defines a mineral floor rather than a purity claim. For everyday drinking water, though, a filter and a reusable bottle gets you the same molecule. Companies spend real money on marketing precisely because most people never read the back of the label, the legal standard of identity definitions that determine what a word is actually allowed to mean. Now you know how to read it. A $10 meter and 2 minutes of label reading can save a family well over $1,000 a year. Based on typical US household bottled water spending, this isn't about one brand being dishonest. It's about a labeling system that lets accurate legal language create an inaccurate consumer impression. That's the system. Now you can see through it. If this saved you from a bad purchase, subscribe for more practical science. See you next time.